back. I know it's been an absolute age, probably pushing 6 weeks since I last put a session video out, and believe me, it's felt that long as well. So you join me on this Friday evening, a beautiful warm summer's evening, and I am at Woodside Lakes. Now I actually come to Woodside Lakes a week ago to turn up in absolute mega conditions, really mild, raining, overcast, nice big wind, and believe it or not, I was booked on for a 48-hour session, got all my kit set up, and they started spawning across sort of three of the pegs that commands pretty much sort of 75% of the lake. So with that, I ended up packing down in the absolute lashing down rain. Everything was drenched wet through, including me, and informed obviously Rich, the owner, and basically because there was no one else booked on there until 7 PM at night, he allowed me just to come and fish one of the 2 other lakes on site, which brings me to this lake that I am going to be fishing for the next 48 hours. Now I have been given exclusive access to be able to fish a 3rd little lake that is on site. Now it's not an actual sort of lake that you can book at the moment, but going forward this lake is potentially going to be a sort of exclusive booking lake for either sort of between sort of 2 to 4 anglers. There's going to be a set of sort of double pegs, maybe on one side and the other side, or end to end, and this little lake is going to be exclusive booking only. But at the moment there are swims that do need to be sort of dug out and stuff like that. So as you can see, pretty much around the perimeter of the lake there are actually no swims sort of fishable at the moment. There is still a little bit of work to do on this lake in particular, but yeah, I've been given sort of, like I say, a bit of exclusive access to be able to come and fish this little lake. I've got a load of content to film this weekend as well, so it fits quite nicely with the stuff that I've got to film, as well as this in-session piece. So that's enough of an intro at the moment. I could talk to you more about the sort of stock levels and stuff like that throughout the session, but let's go and get the mat and all that lot dipped, and we can commence trying to get a little idea about what's going on out there. Right, so as I said, just brought the net, mat and sling down. Just make sure when you come to Woodside you give all of your carp gear a good washing off in the dip tank, and the same going really for any of the venues that actually have a dip tank on site. They're more and more frequent now, so there's no reason not to use them. So yeah, get everything in there, give it a good washing off, and make sure you're not spreading any diseases from venue to venue that you go and fish. Those of you that follow me on my social media, you would have seen that I've recently joined the Deeper Pro team, and I've very kindly been sent and got my hands on the new Chirp Plus 2. So, itching to get out and use it. I've mounted it onto my spod rod. I've got the mobile phone mount on there as well. Literally just need to get me phone on there. It's literally just a big sort of giant elastic band, and it kind of wraps around the handle of the rod, and then does exactly the same on your mobile phone as well, but keeping it in place like so. And just obviously around the back are a couple of giant sort of O-rings, and they just slip around the back of your phone, and that ain't coming off. That's in place. And what that allows you to do is just flick the deeper out, and as you're slowly retrieving it, you can just watch the lay of the land on your phone. So no need for any sort of tripods or anything like that. You can use it in that manner, but I just prefer to have it on the on the rod, just for ease of having everything in one place. Now before I put this out, there are a couple of things I need to do. So I firstly just need to turn the phone into aeroplane mode, so that's going to stop any mobile cell data coming through to the phone. And then what I need to do is get the deeper into the water go into your settings and then connect to the deeper Wi-Fi. So if you go into your Wi-Fi settings, you will see a deeper pop-up, and you just connect to that like you would any other sort of Wi-Fi network. So let's get ourselves over to the water's edge and have a little look. Now there are so many features that you can toggle around with just by pressing the cog button. You can change everything from sort of like the display, the sonar display, right up to the beam of the Chirp. So whether you want a wide beam, a sort of medium beam, and then a really narrow beam, that will allow you to you know, really hone in on certain spots that you may have found. Let's have another little look. Let's have a little swipe up. So there is obviously the sensitivity button in there as well. So that will allow you to toggle around with the sensitivity depending on sort of weather conditions, stuff like that. You may want to just lower that down, but as I've got quite a clear day, I'm going to probably just max that out really, unless I feel the need to you know, bring it down a notch or two, just depending on what sort of feedback I'm getting from underneath the water. You've got show fish icons, obviously pretty self-explanatory. You can toggle again them off or on, and you have different sort of forms of icon that you can sort of be shown on screen, you know, the fish themselves. So we'll have a little play with that as I make my way around the lake, and then you can toggle between a sort of day and a night mode. So this is my first time using it. I've used deepers in the past, and they've become very handy on a couple of different sessions. So I'm sure this will become handy throughout the rest of my sessions going forward, especially in the winter where you know, bites can be few and far between, and locating fish and stuff like that can be quite hard. So I'm going to start flicking this out. Let's have a little look, see what the lake bed looks like, if there's any features underneath the water, and then we can think about a plan of attack. Let's fling the camera around, give you sort of an idea about what I found in the last 20 minutes. So down here narrows right in to sort of like a nice little corner bay, and down there, believe it or not, sort of in the middle of the sort of run, sort of down into that bay, goes to nearly 8 foot, 7.9 I think it was, the deepest area that I found. So all the way around the lake, about half a rod length from the margin, you're going into sort of 3 foot. Add another half a rod length, you're sort of going into the 4 foots. One more sort of half a rod length, so a rod length and a half, you're down into the 5 foots. So all through here, you know, 3 foot, 4 foot, and then you're coming through into the 5 foot of water, same as when you get to this island. So again, it goes from obviously down into 5 foot, and then just slopes up to sort of 2.5 foot around the face of this island. So it goes, like I say, it goes down into a sort of bit of a dip, nice flat area, and then back up to the island, 5 foot, 4 foot, and then 3, 2.5 foot the tighter you get. So anywhere around, if you're thinking about fishing tight to that island, that's literally 2.5 foot of water, and it's a gradual slope as well. It's nothing sort of straight, you know, not 2.5 foot and straight down. It literally is a gradual slope from margins and from that island. So all the way around the lake, it will be sort of 3 foot, 4 foot, sloping down into 5 foot. So this area down here, this is all sort of 5 foot, 5 foot 1, 5 foot 2. Nothing, you know, no features that I found chucking the deeper around. But off the corner of this island, come off it by, I don't know, half a rod length, in line with this dip here, this big dip of these two trees. Straight off the corner of the island, you're straight onto that sort of 3.2 foot bar, plateau, whatever you want to call it, hump. It probably is more of a hump, to be fair. It's not that big, but it's certainly enough to get one rod on, and I'm certainly going to do that as these temperatures are really warm now, as you can expect in late June. So yeah, off the corner of the island there, half a rod length, in line with this little dip in the trees, 3.2 foot, rods going on that tonight. But yeah, as I said, making your way down gradually, It's just going to run through here like a channel really, between the two sort of shallower sides. And again, for that margin over there, it just kind of runs through, gets deeper as it goes down. So 5 foot, 5.5 foot, 6 foot, 6.5, 7, 7.5, and like I say, right down to I think it was 7.9. But that is certainly an area from the corner of the island down into that section of water in the winter. That is certainly an area that's obviously 3 foot deeper than what it is pretty much anywhere else around the lake. I've even walked around the back of the island, and again it pretty much mimics this side. So 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 5 foot, 5 foot, 4 foot, 3 foot, 2.5. So it literally mimics this side over the other side of the island as well. But like I say, winter, if I was fishing here in a winter social, I'd want to be down that end, 3 foot difference nearly from everything else down this end. And again in summer, like it is now, probably want to focus on this sort of 5 foot water and that 3.5 foot spot just here. So now that I know what's going on underneath the water, whilst I was chucking the deeper around, one actually did sort of bosh over here. Nothing massive, but it was yeah, certainly a good little show. So I'm going to think about getting three rods set up. Nothing else is set up at the moment, as you can see, a bit of a mess, but that's what happens when you're trying to do 101 things at once. But yeah, I think we're just going to get 3 solid bags sorted. Stick one down to where I saw that fish. One is definitely going on that 3 foot spot, and then I believe, from a little bit of inside intel from Rich, the owner of Woodside Lakes, he actually, when he comes around to sort of feed the lake, chuck a bit of pellet out and stuff like that, he's actually had them quite close in down on this margin. So I might just go in, just drop a lead down, just have a little feel. I'm pretty much expecting it to be clean, because if he's been putting a bit of pellet down there, I'd imagine they've ripped that up completely, and I'd imagine it's quite hard. So that's what I'm probably going to do with that rod, is just go and lower it down over there. But for now, I'm going to get a few rods sorted. I'm absolutely gagging for a drink, and we're going to see how the evening goes, and hopefully this lot will disappear and leave me alone as well. I've got my 10 foot extricator rods with me this weekend, with me extricator reels as well. So really small, really sort of perfect for this sort of size water, and they handle solid bags absolutely perfectly. Now if you follow me, then you know that I absolutely love a solid bag, and after casting that deeper around, knowing that that lake bed is nice and clean, this is going to be absolutely perfect for just dropping onto, like I say, showing fish like that. So I've just got my little sort of pellet mini mix in there, all different shapes and sizes, sort of micro up to around sort of 4mm, bit of powder, and me ever faithful Baitworks Sea Monster pink wafters. Now it's pretty obvious when you go into my solid bag bucket which are the ones that have sort of been doing the bites for me when I've been out and about, and as you can tell, that is half full compared to some of the others in my yeah, some of the other pots in my bucket. So going in with the faithful pink Sea Monster, little short rig down in there, 2.5 ounce inline lead. Let's shut up and get it out there. Record breaking by any means, but welcome on that solid bag straight off the corner of that island. Would have probably been out 10 minutes. Believe it or not, there are only 51 fish in this lake, give or take 1 or 2 that have escaped netting over the time. But yeah, nice little mirror to start the session. number 2. Another stunning little mirror. What do you reckon? Bigger than the first one or not? I don't know. Possibly, but it's probably just by ounces. But yeah, stunning little fish. The other side's just as pretty as well. Loads of little spangly scales on this sort of wrist of its tail. I'm glad I bought spare clothes, because if this is anything to go by, I reckon I might need them. But yeah, let's just get that foam off him while he's calm. Give him a little wipe down, make him look nice and pretty in this beautiful sun. But yeah, look at that one, lush little fish. But yeah, look at them scales, look, down by its wrist of its tail. That one with a bit of weight on him will look incredible. I'm gonna just take some quick snaps, slip it back, get that rod sorted. Oh, wow, you're never gonna believe it. Just had another one. Can't even see where, there we go, in the net. Another one in the net. Bit of a better fish it looks like. Nice common, give me a really good scrap. Absolutely erupted on the surface. But it went a bit dead after that second fish. And I thought, you know what, I'll get the bivvy set up, get a little bite to eat on the go. What is the chances I literally lifted the ridge monkey lid to take my first bite of my food, and the rod absolutely rattles off. But I'm not going to complain. Like I say, we've got a nice common in the net, so I'm going to get it out. We'll have a look on the camera, we'll get it back, and I might be able to tuck into some dinner. 3 bites off that spot now. I've not had a sniff on the other rod, and I've not even put the sort of 3rd rod out yet, just because things have been so hectic, and I've not been able to, like I say, get home up or have any food or anything like that. So I took the time out just to have the 2 rods out. But they've all been off that same spot, even though the first rod I put out was cast to a showing fish. But look at him, 17-18 pound of immaculate common carp. Solid bag again on that short spot, short shallow spot. Solid bag, pink sea monster wafter, little mixture of pellet. 3rd bite, and I've literally been here probably as many hours. Mega, really happy with that one. Let's hope some of those 20s turn up, force them little ones out, and we can stick a few more of these on the mat. So I've just kind of chucked the right hander just down the sort of other end, really, just into open water, into that sort of 5 foot, and we'll just sort of see what happens through the night. But yeah, all 3 rods are out now, so I'm just going to kick back, chill out. It's been a bit of a full-on sort of evening since I've been here, and it's been a bit of a long week as well, so I'm just going to lay on the bed chair until this sort of light disappears, and I will obviously get the camera back out as and when anything happens. So we'll leave it there for now, and we will catch up either through the night, if not first thing in the morning. That's the 4th one of the session. Like I say, that was from the first solid bag that I chucked out to them showing fish. I hadn't redone it or anything. I was literally going to leave it there because nothing had materialised with it. But yeah, it's rattled off, sorry, just on dark. So quickly take a couple of snaps and then stick it back, redo the rod, and try and get back into the sack. Morning. So look at that, what I've had to wake up to. Beautiful blue sky, and hopefully it will dry some of the gear off. Don't know if you can tell, but I'm really bunged up this morning. I had a bit of a rough night. The hay fever is just killing me this morning. Just yeah, eyes, nose, mouth, you name it. Basically, yeah, cannot breathe. So I've got the old eye drops in, taking the tablet, but wow, yeah, something is really setting it off this morning, big time. So it's just coming up to around 7 o'clock, and I've had a cup of coffee. I've redone the middle rod, the one going out onto the short spot. I did think last night that it wasn't bang on the money, and yeah, I just kind of redone it this morning just to be sure. And like I say, because it's going to be 20 degrees today, I've got a feeling that spot is going to be pretty much like yesterday evening. I reckon that one's going to be the banker spot, just for the fact that it's going to be so warm, and they'll just get up and over that shallower area. What I might try and do today as well, between sort of filming some other content, is try and go and sort of nick one out the edge somewhere. Like I say, it is going to be warm. There is absolutely no wind whatsoever, so I can chuck the glasses on, go for a walk, see if I can bait a couple of spots, and maybe try and nick one from the edge somewhere, you know, with the margins again being around the 3 foot mark. So that's the sort of plan of attack. At the moment, I'm just going to try and sort myself out and make myself feel a little bit more human. Get another coffee on, and yeah, just kind of like ease myself into the day. But at the moment, yeah, like I say, my eyes are absolutely just scratching to pieces. My nose is blocked, and I've got a tickle at the back of my throat. So yeah, this hay fever is doing me on all ways this morning. So let's get the kettle on, let's have another brew, try and make myself feel a little bit more alive. Once this one's whacked on about 15-20 pound, gonna look incredible. Right little fatty. Look at him. What a lush looking fish. Now as I said, there's about 51 fish in here apparently, and they're all sort of hand picked, and from sort of like the draining of the other 2 lakes, and obviously this lake that used to be the stock pond. There's 51 fish been put in there, so some from each of the lakes, and obviously ones that you know, Rich has sort of fed and bringing on himself. But yeah, look at that for a cool looking carp, and that is the stamp of fish that will sort of be in here. So there's going to be scaly ones, you know, nice commons, some nice big sort of framed commons. There is a right mixture of fish, but like I say, they're all hand picked to go in there. It's just a case of feeding them up and growing them on, and this will be a really nice little exclusive booking lake. But he's got a right little belly on him. Put a great little scrap. Put a great little scrap for himself. But yeah, what a cool looking fish. Mega scale patterns on him. Really happy with that one. On the solid bag again. Gonna reel off some quick snaps and let him go back. You join me in the bivvy, just out of the way of that sun for a little while. While this rod is in after that last fish, I'd just thought I'd talk you through basically how I've got it set up. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, including any from Woodside, then you know I absolutely love a solid bag. Now this setup allows me to take it pretty much anywhere I want and still, you know, use it safely and effectively. So no leaders, no lead core, nothing, anything like that. It is literally a take it anywhere sort of solid bag setup as such. So what I like to do is use about a foot and a half of tungsten tubing, because these lakes are sort of like a clay type bottom. This sort of browny colour
really does sort of sink well and just kind of blend in really. So I'll use a good sort of foot and a half of tungsten tubing in the brown colour, and then what I also use is a brown, pretty much identical solid bag stem. You really can't tell any difference, even though they're two different brands. They literally just work together colour wise. So a nice long stem, and that allows me to, when I'm sort of constructing my solid bag, it just allows me to sort of lick and stick around the stem, because obviously with the stems on sort of inline leads, some of them are quite short, some of them are quite long, but with these sort of solid bag stems as such, they just allow you to get the lead a bit further into the bag. It just gives you a bit more room to play with when you're licking and sticking around the stem, so it does serve a purpose as well. Down to a 2.5 ounce flat pair inline lead. Always use 2.5 ounces inside my bags. Just feel they're sort of like the ideal weight really for the small solid bags that I use. Once the sort of you know, the contents of the bag are in there, the pellet and stuff like that, then you probably put in on another 1/2 ounce, possibly possibly an ounce. So there could well be 3 to 3.5 ounce cast in weight. And when I'm using those sort of 10-foot rods, I just feel that's just a nice balance for the setup as well as the bag. Just move forward a bit there. I've got a really small mini anti-tangle sleeve, and underneath that is a quick change swivel, so that just allows me to slide that off and essentially unhook the rig, and that way I can, if I'm fishing sort of like a runs water, then you kind of leave the rig in just in the fish's mouth if it's safe to do so, and it allows you to do so, and then you can just hook on another rig and get it straight back out, maximising obviously bites. But if I wanted to change, you know, the rig because the hook's been bent over, you know, or the point's gone on the hook, then that allows me to do that as well without having to sort of cut a rig off or try and unthread the loop and stuff like that. So that is exactly what that part of the rig and terminal tackle setup is for. Not only that, I've got a sort of a 3.5 inch rig made up of a supple braid, so no coating on that whatsoever, supple, really short, which is what you want for inside the solid bag. You don't want loads of masses of braid sort of hooping up on itself, potentially catching on the hook. You just want enough so that that can lay flush on the bottom of the bag, and then the contents filled inside with just a little bit more rope to hang themselves with. So down to the hook, that is a size 6 wide gape. Sometimes I would even go up to a size 4 wide gape. I like a wide gape on a solid bag rig. I just feel like it, you know, it's just a great sort of hook for this style of fishing really. Just got, like I say, a nice wide gape on it, loads of space for that to get in that bottom lip, and yeah, it just never lets me down. On the hook itself, there's a little bit of shrink tubing on the eye, and then there's a little bit of shrink tubing on the shank of the hook. That just helps keep the hair running down the back of the hook, and then I can also tell if I've been done as well, because that gets pushed right back if a fish blows a bait out and manages somehow to eject the hook. So it's a good way of telling if you've been done or not as well. That's just tied knotless knot style, and then a very small loop at the end where I'll just mount my hook bait. My hook bait of choice has been the Sea Monster Bait Works pink ones. They never let me down here. They're yeah, they're pungent. They've got a really vibrant pink colour, and yeah, they just seem to work here. The fish really like them, and I've had all my bites on them this session. So that rig there, minus a barbless or a barbed hook, depending on what your venue allows, it's always worth just making up sort of 10 rigs barbed, 10 rigs barbless. You can just chop and change then. There's nothing, you don't need to change anything else about your setup. This is pretty much take anywhere you want and will like meet the needs of most, if not all, fisheries rules. So really simple, successful, solid bag setup. Get out there and give it a go. Oh, bit of a early afternoon update. What's been happening? Not a lot. I've had the rods in this morning, sort of late morning. Had a bit of a freshen up, and just been filming a few bits and pieces for my channel, really. Like I say, it did really sort of die off. The bites are sort of drying up, so I've decided through the heat of the day just to rest the swim. You know, these fish haven't really been fished for. So I don't know if they've just gone sort of on a little bit of a tender hooks, really, just because half a dozen of their mates have been hooked. So I don't know, yeah, if they've just kind of switched off a little bit or pushed away and are just a little bit more sort of wary of getting down on the spot. So yeah, I had the rods in for the best part of the day. It's now coming up to around 2 o'clock. I did spray sort of 3 or 4 pouchfuls of pellet over that shallower spot as well, just to try and get them to you know, get a little bit of confidence moving over the spot, having a free sort of feed, and yeah, not having sort of a hook wedged in their bottom lip. So yeah, I've tried to just give them a little bit of encouragement to come back in, mooch around, have a little bit of a feed up, and just, like I say, gain their confidence in that spot. So like I say, it's 2 o'clock now, so I'm going to think about just flicking at least that shallow spot rod back out. I may chuck the other one down to the left. I'm going to keep an eye on the bank up the like I say, just up to my right there. I've been trickling a little bit of bait, but I've yet to see anything. I've not seen any fish in there. I've not seen any sort of smoking up or anything like that, tearing up the bottom to try and get to these pellets. I've not seen anything. I did actually have a walk around the lake a couple of hours ago. I've done a full lap, and I didn't see a single thing. I kind of walked 10 paces, had a look into the margins, real good look, nothing. Another 10 paces, another look left and right, nothing. I'd done that around the whole lake and didn't see a single fish in the margins, which I was quite surprised, to be fair, being only sort of 3-4 foot deep. I'd half expected to see maybe 1 or 2 fish just kind of scooting around the edges, but obviously not. But as you can tell, the intensity of this sun is still really warm. Even though it kind of dips in and out of those clouds, it is rather toasty. So yeah, I'm just going to flick this rod back out onto that shallow spot, sit back, chill out for a bit. It's been a bit of a full-on day, and didn't have the best night's sleep last night with a hay fever as well this morning. So yeah, I'm just going to chill out for a bit, out of the way of this sun, and see if anything happens with this shallow rod. So let's flick this out, see how the afternoon pans out, and then we can reassess for the evening time. Couple of hours and this solid bag rod's rattled off. We got this really nice common. Absolutely one-toning me. Even tried to do me around the back of the island, so I had to sort of run up the bank and sort of turn him back around, make him come back round to me. And yeah, then he decided that he wanted to go off down the other end of the lake, taking off, charging down the other end of the lake on the surface. Proper giving up a good account of himself. So yeah, well happy with that one. Bit of a bigger one compared to the smaller ones that we've been picking off, but yeah, really clean. So quick couple of snaps, send him off, fight another day. Oh well, another unexpected bite. Now it was the left-hander that rattled off. Now we've got pretty much like a baby version of 1 or 2 of the larger residents in the Spessy Lake. Now there's 1 or 2 that look very similar to this, with just like a couple of scales on their sort of main sort of part of their body. And when this one grows up to be just like them,
This one will also, I can imagine, look awesome in this lake. It's sort of £20 plus. Really nice fish, got real like a grey tinge to its back. But yeah, solid bag victim again, as expected. This one I actually pumped full of Atlantic heat oil. So yeah, that's it's a massive slick when this one erupted and tore off. Real big flat spot on the surface, as it must have literally hoovered down the contents of my solid bag. So just quickly show you the other side. Just as pretty, but a couple more scales on this side. But yeah, look at him. As I said, was not expecting this bite. This one was in sort of 5 foot or so of water, and yeah, didn't expect this one to rattle off. But clearly, like the Spessy Lake, you just don't know when you're going to get yourself a bite. I've had them in all sorts of conditions over on that Specimen Lake. So quickly get a couple of pictures, stick it back, get the rod back out. Rod's gone back out. I'm just going to top the spot up with a 2, maybe 3 pouchfuls of the pellet that I've got left over, which isn't a lot, but should hopefully see me through the rest of this session at least anyway. So it is purely just the Creamino boilie pellet and the Royal Marine boilie pellet, all different shapes and sizes, bits and pieces. So yeah, just going to carry a few light pouchfuls over the top of that spot. Like I say, the bag has gone straight back out, and see if we can nick ourselves another bite. But yeah, right result, really clean common, really happy with that one. Let's get a couple of these out. Perfect. Basically just peppering that shallower hump, so some are probably going down the side, some are going on top. Just making a little sort of area for the fish just to come in, pick bits and pieces up. My little solid bag would be amongst it. Nice little mound with the cherry on top. The sea monster waft the hook bait, scoff that down, and the rest is history. Right, so it's just coming up to around 11 o'clock, and I've just had a passing shower. Literally the moment it stopped, the short rod, the shallow rod, has rattled off. We've got this long, lean, common that is giving me a proper good beating up on the mat. But yeah, there we go, proper long one. Took off like an absolute steam train, as you can imagine. Being torpedo shaped, it took off at 100 miles an hour. So I'm going to quickly get a couple of snaps, slip it back, get that rod sorted. God, at this rate I am not going to be getting any sleep tonight. Another one off that shallow hump, another one for the mat, and I can hear fish literally boshing up to my left, right and centre. It's stupidly mild, really nice wind blowing, and I've got a feeling it might be a busy night. Let's get him out on the mat and have a little look. There we go then. Midnight solid bag muncher. Had me scrambling out the bag. That rod hadn't been out that long, to be quite honest with you, so yeah, looks like I'm going to be redoing that again. I wasn't 100% confident that it went down in exactly the right spot, but clearly it did make didn't put this one off from getting its head down on the bag contents. So quick couple of snaps, slip it back, get that rod sorted again. Up at 6, we have this common as our wake-up call. Now absolutely shattered, I'm not going to lie.
I had that fish obviously in the night, and I also bumped one off as well. I lost one through the night. Bit of a one-toner. I was fumbling around to get my shoes on, and yeah, it just took off. Managed to get it back, and just, yeah, the hook just pulled out, and yeah, so I did actually lose one, but this has made up for it. Real nice common, really clean. Give me a massive drop back, and give me a really good scrap underneath the rod tip. It's just going round and round and round in circles, just could not get his head up. But yeah, look at him. Really nice clean fish, full of fight, full of spirit for morning. So clearly disturbed him whilst he was trying to eat his breakfast. But yeah, really nice fish. Ooh. But yeah, I'm absolutely shattered. I think we're due a little bit of rain this morning. I could start to feel it coming down. The wind has really picked up. But yeah, that was a left-hander, a solid bag that had been out all night. I hadn't had a touch on either of these other two rods until now, so I need to get this one redone, sharpish, get it back out, see if we can nick a few more before home time. Well, the morning has passed on, uneventful since that first fish this morning. But I'm not complaining sort of too much. I've had a good run on this session. It's around sort of 11, half past 11 now, I believe. A friend and someone that I know from sort of social media has popped down this morning, Aaron. We've had a sort of a coffee and a catch up, and yeah, just sort of chatted all things sort of carpiness as you do. And yeah, the morning has sort of passed really, but what has happened is that I've had a notification pop up on my phone to say that we're due some really heavy rain in the next few hours. So one, for not wanting to get wet for a second weekend in a row, I've decided to strip the bivvy. I've got everything sort of loaded onto the barrow. It's literally just a shell of the bivvy left to pack down. So yeah, ideally I'd want to be getting home nice and dry. So with that in mind, I am going to wrap this video up there, unless obviously happens with the rods, which will just stay out until I chuck them in their sleeves and onto the barrow. But yeah, for now, like I say, I will leave it there. Thank you for watching. It's been nice to get out, and massively appreciative of the opportunity of obviously being able to fish this lake that isn't actually open to obviously you know, the public as such yet. So you can't actually book this lake until sort of swims have been decided on and dug out and stuff like that. So yeah, please don't go sort of inundating Woodside with messages on how to book this venue. It's still pretty much as a work in progress. I was just being given an opportunity, which I'm massively appreciative of, to come and wet a line whilst I've done some sort of other filming over the course of this weekend. So really appreciate the opportunity of like I say, sticking a few rods out. It's been enjoyable, and there are some stunning fish to go at once this place does fully open. And yeah, I'm sure a few of you may get to like I say, have a little dabble on here yourselves. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that one. So until then, thank you for watching. Feel free to stick any comments and you know, the usual business down below. I will happily get involved and reply to you guys as I do anyway. Feel free to come and get involved on any of my social media. It's always nice to hear from you. If you're visiting the sort of specimen lake or anything like that, I'll try and give you some pointers where I can. But for now, yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. It's been a great sort of, what, 48 hours just shy of. And yeah, really enjoyed myself. It's much needed after a sort of 5-6 week sort of break from being on the bank. So it's yeah, it's been great fun. So I will catch up with you guys very soon on my next adventure. Stay safe, stay well, and we'll speak soon.